Welcome back, this is Cereal Snacks, and today we are looking at Subnautica, and I wanted to take you guys on a quick tour of all the biomes that are currently in the Subnautica Early Access, starting with my favorite, actually, which is the Koosh Zone. You can see this massive Koosh bush and this little base that I made down here. Pretty cool, it's pretty deep. It's actually below the 250 meter mark, which means you can't bring the sub down here because the sub can only go down to 200 meters. And then there's these sand sharks that kind of pester you, but the other neat feature, besides the Koosh bushes, which eventually will be harvestable, I'm guessing, is that a lot of cool minerals here, a lot of good stuff, a lot of gold, a lot of diamonds, and then there's a lot of like lava type caves. So there's one right there. There's another one that you can get lost in. It's like a maze, and right now it's unpopulated, but I'm guessing some of the lava larvae and lava lizards and those sort of things will probably be populated in that zone. So just want to give you take a quick look at this zone just to give you an idea. You can see there's Koosh bushes. There's a little kind of those blue plate things, which I think are only in the Koosh zone. So let's move on to the next biome of Subnautica. Okay, for this one I decided to leave the HUD on of my swimsuit because I felt like it was kind of nicer to have a HUD. You can see all the fish and you can see my bubbles. This is the mushroom biome. A mushroom tree biome, I guess is what I call it. And yeah, it's the mushroom forest, I guess is what they call it on the wiki, but it's pretty cool. There's occasionally you see a little rift, a reef back swimming through here, and then you see these things that glow in the dark. They're the jelly rays. I don't see any right now. The other notable feature is what you see here on the ground, and everybody's always asking where to find this stuff, and that is the lithium. It's usually found on the edges of the forest. It's also found in other places, but man, when you go to the edge of this mushroom forest, they're all over the place. Look at that. Already got two? No problem. I don't see any more. I have my oxygen turned off and my damage turned off, my food turned off, all that, just to show you guys these biomes, but still a really cool biome. Let's jump into Seamoth and we'll drive through it just a little bit before we move on to the next area. Pretty cool. Actually, right now you can cut some of the things off of the mushroom trees, and I don't see any right offhand, but I believe, let's try it right now. I believe it's these guys. These guys? Yeah, these barnacle suckers. I thought these broke. Maybe they don't yet. There is something that does break here, and I don't recall what it is. Whatever it is, oh, perhaps it's, no, whatever it is, you cannot use it. However, the other nice feature of the mushroom forest, which I like, is these air bubbles, which if you build a base or park next to, you can get air without having to go back in. And, of course, the acid mushrooms, my favorite for a quick pick-me-up. You can eat these. Obviously, I can't right now because I have no food on, but still, a pretty cool area. Look, there's another lithium. Lithium for days in this area. So, great place to be if you're looking for lithium for your Cyclops. Alright, moving on. Okay, so this next zone this next biome is called Safe Shallows. That's what they call it on the wiki, but that's kind of what it is. It's really the starting zone that you land in, and ultimately it's my favorite place to hang out long term, simply because it's close to the surface of the water, which is nice for air, tons of mushrooms, and it also borders the Kelp Forest, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the other nice part about it is that you can build bases which will then extend into the outside air. Plus, it's just a lot of accessibility, right? It's by your escape pod. It's just a nice place to hang out. Plus, it's just beautiful, right? It's got green plants and purple plants and all sorts of stuff. So this really is the best place if you just want to kind of hang out and chill in Subnautica. And as a bonus, it seems like when I fed this guy, little Dave, my stalker, he became so docile. Even in this area, the stalkers are relaxed. Hey, buddy, what you doing? It's cool. He's just hanging out. That's all he's doing. Just my friend now. Alright, let's move on to the Kelp Forest, which actually is right here, so we'll just swim over to it. And the one reason I really like the Kelp Forest, well, one thing is you can find stalker teeth. It's kind of the secondary area you go to. Once you get the sea glide, you can start diving down into these caves and getting other kind of minerals that you need that are harder to get. Plus, there's some really cool life down here. There's some really strange kind of jellyfish hanging off the ceiling in here, the jellyfish caves. And the other huge bonus, probably the hidden bonus, although it's right in front of your face, is the creep vines themselves, because they give you water, and air sacs are relatively hard to catch, and the creep vines are so easy to cut, so they give you a little bit of food, they give you a little bit of water. It's a way to keep yourself alive in those dire situations early game. I still use it to this day. I cut these things up when I'm just tired of catching fish. So pretty awesome little place in general. This is the place to be when you want to be safe. So let's keep moving on to some of the more dangerous biomes and more interesting ones that you don't normally go to a whole lot. Okay, so I believe they call this area the Grassy Plateau area. Not an area that I spent a whole lot of time in, honestly, because first of all, there wasn't a whole lot of minerals and stuff that I needed here. But the other reason is there's these shark-type creatures that tend to attack you quite a bit. There's none right here at the moment. You can see the reef guy, the reef back, which is really cool. He's making tons of noise at me. But there's also these cool fish here. Ooh, let's get one. Oh, what? Yeah, never was good at catching fish, but I always liked the look of these guys. Showed them off in my creature video. Yeah, spadefish. That's right. They're kind of like a. Can I put them in my hand? Oh, look at them, little spadefish. So that said, I don't know. The cool part about this zone, I think probably the biggest selling point of this biome is that it's relatively flat. So there's a lot of area to build things. The other really interesting feature is this, and I'm actually going to use my sea glide so we can get down there quicker. I think was it down there? In one of these areas, there is a massive cave, and once I find it, I'll show you it. So, in the massive cave, there's these huge jellyfish, and there's actually jelly mushroom things. But see, there's the sharks I was talking about. These are the sand sharks. They get in the sand and they come out and attack you. Not an incredibly fun time. So this is the Grassy Plateau, and let's keep moving on. So in the red Grassy Plateau area, there is this, which is one of the first areas I went into, and it is very dangerous. It's very hard to get in there and get out of it in your sea moth. I'm gonna go down there and take a quick look. This is not necessarily a biome per se, but it is an area that has kind of biome-like qualities, and this is, I don't know what they actually call this in the wiki, but it's a mushroom cave, right? And it's got these cool jelly rays, and the reason for coming down here is, in my mind, one of the main reasons really is to get lithium. Now I know that they have lithium in the mushroom zone on the edges, but sometimes that can be hit or miss. I mean, it's usually there quite a bit, but here you're going to find it a little more often. For example, usually lithium is found in the rocks in here. And if I hit this, okay, gold. There's a lot of gold down here as well. So if you want more gold, this is another good spot as an alternative to the Koosh Zone. More gold. Maybe I won't get lithium. This is going to prove myself wrong in this video. Lithium. Got some lithium. So there you go. This is where I got all my lithium when I made my Cyclops ship. So this is the jelly, but not the jelly, the mushroom cave. The biggest problem with this cave is finding the way that you came in and getting out of it. So let us go to the next biome I want to show off. Okay, now this isn't a biome per se, but as you're going to the floating island, you may accidentally pass right by what I think is kind of just a cool environmental feature, and that's these huge spikes coming out of the ground. It almost looks like, and I know it's just rock, but it almost looks like a creature, like their skeleton, they've died, and these are like their claws sticking up out of the ground, like a big hand almost. Really, it's just neat to look at. Nothing really special. There's no interesting creatures here or anything like that. There are these kind of diamonds. Oh, and it kind of spoiled the next biome, and we'll see more of these in a minute. There's actually a bunch of these in some of the deepest areas of the game, and that these are called, I don't know what they call this actually. I don't even know if there is a name for these, but you always expect that when you swim into them they're going to explode. They don't. You just swim right through them. But I don't know. They're like floaters, but they're not floaters. But these are cool as well. So this is the beginning of that zone, and those spikes are kind of on the edge of that. So if we swim a little further, you'll see they pop up everywhere. This is another cool place. It's pretty deep. I think I have an error message on my screen. That's why I have my HUD all the way off. Yeah, it says it's about to crash, although I don't think it is. But yeah, it's about 200 depth are these things. So it'd be cool to have a base around these. But it is a little bit deep, so you can't bring your sub too far down here. But so this is the floating ball biome. I guess that's what I'm going to call it. Alright, on to the next area. Alright, cool. So the next biome that I want to look at is kind of not an underwater biome, obviously. It's a floating island. Pretty impressive stuff. I'm in free cam mode because I just kind of wanted to fly around and show you guys what it looked like. I kind of built an underwater base above ground here just for the fun of it. The neatest part about this island, now they've got a lot of work to do on it, but I still think it's pretty incredible, and it's going to be neat to harvest some of the stuff that is around this island. But if you go down underneath, the reason they call it the floating island is because there's these huge creatures that seem to be holding up the island. They're kind of like massive versions of the floaters, which can lift rocks and stuff in the other biomes. So very cool little island. It's nice to bring your sub to, park it, and just check it out. It does load a little slow, but that's just some optimization issues, no big deal. And there's some line of distance issues too, but nothing really bad. I really love what they've done with the island. They just need to. They've obviously got the line of sight set for underwater and not above ground. But pretty awesome place, like I said, to park your sub. So as an extra bonus, there's one final biome type place, and let us head there now. Ha! So I'm kind of kidding, actually. This really isn't a biome. This is a huge monolith, like, that is way out. So if you get to the island and you basically just keep swimming south, it's roughly at coordinates like negative 1350, negative 1500 or something like that. If you type F1, you can actually see your coordinates. But if you swim all the way out here, I'm in free cam obviously, but there's this huge pie-shaped monolith out in the middle of nowhere. Kind of cool, right? And actually, if you use the terraformer on it, you can actually carve your way around it and get to the top if you wanted and build a base. I think it's probably a mistake, but I wanted to show it off anyway as kind of the bonus biome for Subnautica. So I hope you enjoyed my world tour of Subnautica and all the crazy cool biomes that it has, and I hope that you will join me next time. See you later.